Hi, everybody. It's Zane with Sailing Views, and I have a special treat. This is Katey Zimmerman. She works for Quantum Sales. She is one of the best Melges 24 sailors I know. She is just incredible. So, without any further ado, how you doing, Katie?
I'm doing great, Zane. How are you?
I'm all right.
Excited to see you since we can't be at regattas right now, but
Uh,
I'll
yeah,
take it.
yeah, I'll take it. I know this is as close as we can get. So, what's your claim to fame? How should people know you?
Well, like you said, I've been doing a lot of Melges 24 sailing in the last about 5 years. I've been a spinnaker trimmer primarily and working on my tactics right now. That's kind of my summer project. And I also am working for Quantum Sales in Traverse City. So I've kind of been around the Great Lakes region. This is where I've grown up. I've done a little bit of high school sailing, some college sailing for the University of Wisconsin-Madison. So I'm excited to keep going.
All right, well, good. Okay, so with that great introduction, let's go into when did you start sailing? What age were you, and how'd you get started?
So my family owned an Islander 40,
Hmm.
and if you ask my parents, they would take me in the car seat and strap me to the wheel, the bulkhead, and
Uh-huh.
kind of hang out, and they'd fill up the cockpit with water and I'd splash around with my toys. And so that I've been on boats for my whole childhood, but I would say when I started learning how to sail, like when I started driving small boats, um I was 8 years old. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the Great Lakes, you may know Manitou Islands from the Chicago Mac race. And my grandparents have a house on Good Harbor Bay. So you can see the two Manitou Islands out there. And my dad put me in a laser by myself and said, "You
Go.
sail, you tack a few times, and you come back. And if you can do that, you can have a fish." And I actually negotiated and I got an underwater frog.
You didn't want the fish, you
But
wanted the frog.
no,
Okay.
I wanted something better. Like everyone can get fish, but I wanted an underwater frog. So, yeah, I went out and tacked a couple times, brought the boat back in, and we went to the pet store that day. So, I think that's when I really started driving and was getting more interested in sailing myself, not just sailing with my family.
Yeah. Okay, so I know you sail with your family now. Uh, but as you said, you started when you were 8, and you did it as a bribery for underwater frog.
Yes.
When did you think you were good and you actually, you know, wanted to work further at it? When did you think, okay, this is I'm good at this. I need to dig further.
That's something I still struggle with a little bit because when you sail against certain people, you're not good at all.
Yeah.
You and I go, well, time to
Well,
quit.
I'm not good. Trust me. I'm a little above average is what I like to say. Well, it
Yeah,
depends. Actually, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm the best there's ever been. But you
there you
know,
go.
uh, you know. Then again, I can't beat any of these really good guys, so I'm obviously not that good. And that's the thing about sailing. No matter how good you think you are, everybody has a threshold when they decide, you know what, I think I have a natural aptitude for it, and you want to
hmm
dive in. So, what age was your aptitude when you said, okay, I'm ready to dive in, I'm ready for it?
I think it was sophomore year of college. Um, I sailed, like I said, I sailed in middle school competitively. I sailed in high school. And then when I went to school at UW-Madison, freshman year, I actually had not planned on sailing for the team, but met a couple nice people at some of the first
And
practices
they
and
roped
decided
you
to
in. Yeah.
stick around. Yeah, they got me. And and the whole first year was a little bit of a struggle because college sailing is a
Different.
whole different level
Yeah.
than other youth sailing.
Yeah.
And it took a year to kind of realize that I wanted to put in the work and I enjoyed the competition of it. And Yeah, and I think it was sophomore year, and then I was totally hooked. I told
Yeah.
my parents I wanted to be a pro sailor, and they were like, "Oh, this college
God.
education."
Yeah. Yeah. See, the crazy thing is, I know your parents, and I would think your parents would be like, "Go for it, go, 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 go."
Well,
But
it's partly their fault too.
yeah,
They encouraged me, they taught me how to sail, and so they should have seen this coming a
yeah,
long time ago.
they should have. They should have. All right. So, who influenced you? And I know you're going to say your parents, because I mean, you still sail with your dad, and your dad's a great sailor and a great guy. Beyond your family, who else has influenced you and taught you and helped create you into the sailor you are?
I think one of my biggest influencers is Dave Gerber.
Mm-hmm.
He was my high school sailing coach, which was an awesome experience. And um, ever since high school, his coaching style has just really resonated with me. I think that he gave us, as the high school sailors, a lot of respect and responsibility and really pushed us. And I just really respected him in return, and kind of the high school kids that I grew up with in my class, we all sort of banded together and pushed each other, and Dave helped us a lot. And I still actually have the opportunity to sail with Dave today quite a bit. He comes
Great.
and sails with us on our Melges every once in a while, and it is just a blast to have him.
Yeah.
Um, I love learning from him, and I love sailing with him. He's just a great guy, and he makes it fun.
Do you get to
So,
teach him anything?
um, every once in a while,
Uh,
yes.
yeah. Uh,
I most recently we were sailing on the 24 together, and we had one person that was different than our normal combination that we have been training with. And it started off light, but it got really breezy. And I was trimming spinnaker, and I looked at Dave and I said, "Dave, we can do blow through jibes. Like, we got this, no problem." And Dave goes, "No, we're not doing blow through jibes. We're
you're
not
like,
changing
we got to.
in the middle of Dragana." I was like, "No, Dave, it's the right conditions. We have to do
It's
it."
perfect.
Yeah. And we pulled it off, and he was like, "Oh, okay."
That's no problem. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fine. Uh
yeah,
huh. Yeah, it's amazing how, as being a coach and a owner, blow throughs scare the crap out of me because if they go wrong, there's a lot of money at stake.
oh yeah,
And but being a pro sailor on other people's boats, trust me, I'm the first one to say we're doing it. But on my
yeah.
boat, I'm like going, nope, 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 just normal, just pull it
Oh
through.
yeah.
Don't worry about it.
We
So
have had some major spinnaker tears before
yeah,
with blow throughs, but when you nail them,
they're perfect.
there's there's nothing better than
Yeah,
a perfect blow through jab.
yeah, it snaps and it's great.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to what's your favorite boat and why? Is it the Melges or is it
Hmm.
like some boat you sailed in college or something else? I mean, is it the Melges? I would think so because you're always on the Melges.
Yeah, the obvious answer is the Melges 24.
Yeah,
I love them. I love the sport boat, the planing, asymmetrical spinnakers. I just think it's a really great class too to be a part
yeah,
of. I've made so many awesome friends. You meet so many great people going to these events and traveling around, and there are also a lot of events for the class in the US that you can
yeah,
get to without too much
yeah,
trouble. So I think it's so fun to be a part of.
yeah.
Other than that, I do really like laser sailing. I've never been extremely competitive in a laser, but I love to take one out on a windy day and go rip around a little bit and get some tiller time. So
Yeah, how many miles have you logged upwind? That's when you decide if you like a laser. You go upwind for like 4 miles straight. That's when you decide if you love it or not. Uh,
yeah,
Downwind's great. Reaching on those boats are great. Upwind tells you if you really like it. All
yeah.
right. So, what's your favorite place to sail? Because I know I saw you in Miami a couple months ago. So, and I know you literally travel everywhere. So, what's your favorite place to sail?
Yeah, well, so we've done a lot of stuff in the Midwest and on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all those venues, I really do love Miami. I know
I hate Miami.
it's
God,
such
I
a
hate Miami.
Biscayne Bay is beautiful. You can almost always count on the breeze, and you see so many dolphins, which is such a great part of the experience.
I'm holding up my shirt. I got a new shirt today, zooming with my friends. So,
That's a good one.
yeah. All right, I know you the Dolphins. All right, so, all right, get out of Miami.
But you
Where
know,
else?
I've sailed down at your club,
Yeah, you came to Fairhope.
and
That's right.
and
Yeah,
that was fun. That was a good venue. It
yeah,
was crazy hot, but it
yeah,
was fun.
yeah.
The other one I really like is Charleston.
Charleston's not bad. See, I am so mad at myself that I missed the NAs last year up at your club in Traverse City. I tried everything I could to get there, and just money. I've got a lot of weird things going on in my life. My life is not normal at all, and everything I tried to pull off just failed, failed, failed in a row. And I
Yeah.
really wanted to be up there because I've sailed up. I've sailed up there once on 1D35s, and this was
Hmm.
whenever those boats were invented because we were the you know actually it was hole number 9, same boat as like I have on the Melges. So it was hole number 9 on the 1D35s, and we were up there, and it was great. And I really wanted to go back, but I just blew it. I don't know.
Well,
I
come
love
back
sailing up
whenever you
there.
can.
Yeah, I love sailing up
Because
there.
I mean, Grand Traverse Bay is home, but it really is beautiful up here.
Yeah,
And especially in the summertime, it's kind of hard to leave because it's so
I
nice.
know it's so nice up there. I have a hard time, for me personally, going to a place where I have to put my boat on a mooring ball.
Hmm.
That's a kicker for me. If I have to go on a mooring ball, I'm not gonna go because
Well,
if you
now we
know me, I
fill,
forget so much stuff. Like I'll leave my boat. Oh, I forgot my keys. Oh,
yeah.
I forgot my phone. I for, I have to take 50 trips back and forth. So if I have to go on the mooring ball, my life is over. So I'm not going any place with a mooring ball. I've done it before, and it's just wrong.
Well,
It doesn't
we
work.
now have a large enough fleet that when the Melges class has events, we just fill up the whole parking.
Okay.
So no mooring balls in TC.
All right, I'm coming back then. All right, so let's move to the next question. Where do you see sailing going in the future? Do you see it going for like foiling boats or more perf boats or more like Melges one design like J70s Melges? Where do you see sailing going?
You know, it's kind of tricky given the state of the world because
I know.
pre-pandemic, I think that the one design classes, the smaller sport boats like J70s, Melges 24s,
You know,
were seeing a lot of growth and people were excited. There are a lot of events. But now that, everything's shut down, that's kind of tricky and there aren't as many one design events. So that may not be on the rise as much. However, I think that those people, our people, are so enthusiastic about the racing that it may just pick right back up
dude,
once.
I honestly think that all of us one design sailors, small keelboat sailors, and I just went to Missouri to do a consult with some guys on Melges and
Mhm.
J22s, and they are so excited and gung ho. And I think that most people are just gung ho to get on the water and sail.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know what boat's going to take off. I think it's going to be your cheap $5,000, $2,000 perf boat, your Pearson
Hmm.
26s, your Catalina 25s, your boats that all your entry level people that they can get their taxes and buy a boat. I think
Right.
that's how we help grow the sport. I
Hmm.
think that's kind of the future building block, and it's a monetary level, unfortunately, but I think
Hmm.
it's slowly going to grow. Um,
It's also a great way to get people involved that, it's a little trickier to hop onto a sport boat when you've
right.
never been sailing before, but it's a little easier to like bring your boyfriend or
Yeah.
bring your friend or your coworker. along with
Yeah,
you for perf racing, beer can racing, and
yeah,
just to get them hooked.
yeah. It's a
So,
lot
yeah.
easier. It's a lot easier on like that type of boat than it is say a Melges. Then again, when I sail little Sunday fun races or whatever here, I don't race with my normal crew. I bring
Hmm.
my 77-year-old dad, my
Yeah.
320-pound neighbor, and
Hmm.
my guy who mows my lawn. I throw these guys on
Hmm.
my boat, and I just bring random people because I don't want to go out there with a sport boat and just go in
Right.
full race mode and because it's hard on the Melge 24. If you're crewed up well and you're dialed in, you can go crush everybody in perf. But if
Hmm.
you're just average Joe, then guess what? You're an average Joe boat. So
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in bringing new people in, just dragging it, helping it out.
Hmm.
All right, so let's move on to what's the best regatta you've ever done, or the best trip you've ever done. What's one trip that sticks out in your mind that says that was the best event ever?
Melges 24 Worlds in 2016 in Miami. It
Really
was our it was our very first like big
big event?
event with the
Uh,
Melges 24. Yeah. We had Hull 34 and
hmm
we had no idea what we were getting into. And it was so fun.
Yeah,
And I remember the waves
the
were
big waves,
massive.
windy. I saw the videos. I watched it all. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just on the training day, getting out of government cut was like one of the scariest sailing experiences I've ever had. Because
yeah,
the waves, like if you caught him a beam, it was gonna like roll the boat. And especially when you went out of there with lots of other boats around you.
yeah. You're like, please
And
God, don't let us screw up because we're gonna wipe out and hit four other boats.
yeah,
And
and my dad, I think he broke the tiller extension while we were in government cut, and they sent me down below to
go
like
find it.
look
We got
around
another
at
one.
the
Go find it.
spare tiller extension banging in the waves.
Yeah.
At Katie, did you find it yet?
Yeah,
No,
the
no, I
boat's
don't know
the
where it
boat's
is.
doing 8 foot drops like
Yeah.
this, and you're like, "Ugh, I I think I don't know. Yeah, I've been there. I've done that. I know what
Yep.
you're talking about. All right, so that's a great event. All right, so
But
what's the
the
worst event? You had to make one really bad road trip or
yeah,
something.
Lake Geneva
Yeah, a couple years
in
ago. Yeah,
in 2015, I think it was the
yeah,
fall of 2015.
16, 15, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, one of those. That was our very first regatta with the boat, and it was a train wreck. I mean, it blew so hard they almost canceled racing.
yeah.
And I just remember none of us had any idea what we were doing, even less so than in Worlds in 2016. At least we had sailed it for a season or two at that point. But Lake Geneva, we trailered the boat 8 hours, got there, and then it blew like stink, and we couldn't even get back to the club because we were so overpowered. we
Oh, that's not right.
were
All right.
so underweight too.
Yeah, you weren't prepared. Okay, the
No,
class rule when they put a minimum on it, generally you got to be on the maximum edge of that
yeah,
minimum.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, we know
when
that now.
yeah when they put a max, you always want to be near the max. You know, see my my Maljust sailing, I bought the boat like 10 years ago, or actually I bought the boat on the very first date with my ex-wife. All right, I bought the boat. I went there. I paid cash, bought the boat,
Mhm.
drug it home. A month later, I got married and I wasn't allowed to see my boat again. So I never touched my boat for 10 years. And basically, a good friend of mine, Wes Stanley, talked to my dad. And he's like, "Look, I'll give you like 3 grand, 4 grand. Let me throw some money in the boat and finish fixing it up, and I'll use the boat." And we don't know if Zane's ever coming back. And
Mhm.
I wasn't planning on coming back. And all of a sudden, I finally got tired of not sailing, so I, got separated, got divorced, and I got back into boating like 3 years ago. And my
Mhm.
very first regatta was Charleston Nationals, 2018.
Hmm.
And that was the first regatta. Yeah. Well, I take that back. I went to Atlanta 2 weeks before just to figure out. I had to go get my boat measured and just make sure it's legal. But I went to Atlanta. That was my first regatta. And I'm racing against like 10 other, five, six other boats and whatever it was. And it's lake sailing, so it wasn't quite the same. So my first regatta was at Charleston Nationals. And I had no idea. I'm making my own sails, I'm splicing my own lines. I think I know what I'm doing. I show up to this regatta going, I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no clue. And then, of course, the first race of the regatta, we were over early, but because of it, we started the pin, which is favored. I was over early, so I had to spin around. And I came off port, and I kind of ducked everybody, and I went way off right, and I came out, and we were the first boat around the weather mark. And I'm like, holy cow, how? Okay, this is a bad idea. Bad omen for the first race, the first regatta you've ever done. Yeah, needless to say, it all went downhill. But it's one of
Yeah,
those. It's one of
that's how it
those.
goes.
Yeah, that was my first event. It was great. I don't know. All right, so I forgot where we were with the interview, but let's go on to actually the most important question I have for everybody. This is a serious question.
Okay,
Focus.
I'm ready.
What's the strangest thing you've seen floating in the water? Come on, you gotta
Oh,
have some good.
actually,
Uh huh.
this one was pretty funny. We were racing on Wednesday night, just like 2 or 3 weeks ago in Grand Traverse Bay. And Grand Traverse Bay is pretty clean. You don't
Yeah,
usually
it's a good, it's
see,
good, clean area. Yeah.
yeah, you don't usually see a lot of stuff drifting around. Occasionally, early on in the spring, you see a little bit of driftwood, but that's usually it. So we were actually in the middle of a race and saw the boat that was just ahead of us. Something like it looked like it came off of it. And I thought it was like one of those squeegees, to kind of
Yeah.
clean it off. We realized it was part of the keel box pad on the trailer, and it had been
Oh, it
there
was stuck to the boat the whole time,
for the whole race. And
and
then
he's ahead of you.
and then we were mad that they were ahead of us with their keel pad on the keel.
Oh lordy.
So that maybe not the weirdest, but that one was kind of funny.
Yeah, that's when you go. Okay, there's yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So on the water, do you consider yourself the aggressive one or the conservative one? Because I know you sail with a lot of family, and I commend that. I love that. I love it. Are you the aggressive one on the boat, or is your dad, or who? Where do you stand? Come on,
I
throw
think
Scott under the bus. I'm waiting for it. I already know where he stands. I'm waiting for your confirming.
I think it depends a little bit on the combination of people on the boat. I tend to err on the side of conservative, but I definitely have my moments of being on the aggressive side.
Uh huh.
If I'd say if I'm calling tactics, I'm a little on the conservative side. If I'm trimming the spinnaker, I'm aggressive because
Yeah.
I
Like
know
up, down.
what
You got to
that
turn.
boat can do, and I
Yeah.
want to push it, and I want
Yeah.
to go fast downwind. And I don't want to mess around with any of that slow sailing
I don't
stuff.
even want to see the targets. I want to go
Yeah,
fast.
no,
Yeah. No
just
target
go.
boat speed. I'm going.
Yeah.
All right. All right. All right. Uh, what's the best maneuver you've been involved in? Best maneuver in a race. You have an incredible like port tack the fleet, an incredible mark round
Yeah.
where you passed 10 boats. You got anything like that?
Last summer I was sailing not with my dad, but on another Melges 24 with Bill Babel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, he uh he was setting up for a he wasn't really setting up for the start like he normally was, and he usually has pretty much the same kind of start. So I kind of like looked behind me and was like, Bill, like,
What are we doing?
and
Yeah.
before I could ask, I noticed that he was going for a dip start, and he pulled off like the most clean, beautiful dip start I've ever seen. and no one in the fleet even knew what was happening, and we just like did the dip and just took off on
Yeah.
top of everybody. I think we won that race. It
Yeah.
was so great.
Yeah, Travers, sailing in the little harbor that y'all do for y'all's fundraiser. Trust me, I watch your videos. I know what y'all got going on.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it is definitely start, tack, be on port, grind over, grind back late. I already have your tactics, and I've never sailed there.
Yeah.
So, but I've seen enough of your videos. I know. So what you just described makes perfect sense to me. That's great. All right. Uh, so America's Cup. You know, Quantum Sales makes the sales for America's Cup, for America Magic. What
Hmm.
do you think about it? I mean, are you happy with the new America's Cup, or are you even old enough to know what the old
I
12-meter
know.
dog race
I
was,
know.
or
Yes,
what?
I do.
Okay, all right, lay it on me. What do you think? America's
I
Cup.
I have to say I was excited to hear early on in the planning for this round of America's Cup that they were going back to monohull,
Yeah, oh yeah.
and a tad disappointed that it became foiling monohull. Um, I do love the old years and the 12 meters and everything.
Mm.
They're beautiful boats. Um, but at the
Have
same
you seen
time,
those boats up close and perfect? Yeah, they are not pretty
I
boats.
haven't.
You know,
They look pretty from far
the
away.
yeah, I know they do. They look sexy, and I grew up dreaming about them. But the more you get closer to them, you realize the hull is the keel. The keel is
Yeah.
a 3-inch, 3-foot stub. The
Mm-hmm.
rest of the boat is just a sharp V, and that's the keel. That's where the lift comes from. And it's like, okay, I can understand why we got out of this
Yeah.
stupidity, but
Yeah.
I still, like you, I loved it. I loved the close. The boats were so close and such dogs that you know 1 degree shift mattered, and I
Hmm.
loved that. I love the tactician race.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do like the old days. I think the foiling monohulls are kind of cool in their own way though. I mean, maybe it's hard to say.
Yeah,
I want to see what happens.
yeah. I think this is going to tell us a lot. This new iteration. I don't know how the rules are going to lay out. With the
Mhm.
lifting keels and stuff. I mean, that changes room of the mark and room of the starting line
Oh yeah.
immensely. You know, I'm just waiting to see how it all plays out. All I
Mhm.
know is the best sailors in the world are there, and even
Mhm.
some of the best sailors that I've ever seen in my life are sitting on the sidelines. And to me,
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, you know Taylor Canfield as well as
Mhm.
I do, right? And I've sailed with Taylor, and I know he's literally sunk like 3 years. Just I'm going to be the best in the world at match racing, and
Mhm.
he is. I mean, he became the world champ like 3 years in a row,
Right.
and he's running Stars and Stripes. But guess what? It's not about match racing anymore.
Right.
Now it's about we need I
Yeah.
need I need $40 million, $100 million, and I feel so bad for him. Mike Buckley, that whole group is just like, God, y'all are so good, and
Yeah.
I'm seeing their opportunity to get ripped from them. That breaks my heart. That said, America's Cup is America's Cup. It's all about money and innovation and engineering and technical design. But I mean,
Yeah.
do you agree with me on that? Or
Yeah, I
yes,
do.
no? I mean, it's sad.
Mostly.
It's great and sad. It's such a weird world for America's Cup. I don't know what to think.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah, it's tricky because I've only done a little bit of match racing, but it's so tough to be, the best at match racing, and
Yeah.
it's kind of a shame that it's not so much about that anymore, but
Yeah.
hopefully we get a little bit of that back eventually.
Yeah. I've interviewed Taylor. I've interviewed Dave Perry. I've interviewed Lovell. I've interviewed a lot of people that have done really well at match racing, and it just they all they're all kind of like both of us are. We're
Mhm.
like, America's Cup is great. We love to see the engineering side.
Right.
We feel like we've lost the rest of us that are, you know, I'm just $100,000, $100 million short of being there.
Yeah.
You know, grand. Give me $100 million. Hell yeah, I'm going for the America's Cup. All right, so let's move on from there. Where's my notes? All right, what are your future plans on sailing? I mean, you work for Quantum
Oh
Sales. You
boy,
live in Traverse.
I do.
You're waiting for the next greatest thing. What's happening in your world for sailing? What's next?
Well, um, let's see. I'm just kind of getting into offshore racing. I did my first Chicago Mac last
Oh
year,
yeah,
and I'm planning to do the Port Huron Mac this weekend.
yeah.
Um, so I'm really enjoying that, which is in a totally different world from one design racing, and I can't fully decide which one I like better, so I'm just trying to do both right now.
I can already tell you the difference, but yeah, I'm gonna let you decide.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, and then just for me personally, I think I'm trying to learn as much as I can more about the Melges 24, especially learn from kind of mentors in our class like you, Scott Nixon. It's awesome that Bora Galari has been
yeah,
racing in our class.
I'm so glad to see him back. He's
Yeah.
a needed person. Yeah,
hmm And then even the guys that kind of come do the big events like Mike Buckley, Taylor
yeah.
Canfield, everybody on Bruce.
George Pete. I mean,
So yeah,
there's so
George
many.
Pete,
There's so many good
Kelsey
sailors in the Melges
Sims.
class. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, so and everyone I didn't mention because
yeah.
they're all so awesome. So trying to just kind of hone in on the 24 class, but at the same time get a little bit more experience in some other one design classes. I've done a little bit of J22 sailing. I've done a little bit of J88.
How are you at driving?
I drove like my entire childhood, drove in college, so but I don't really drive anymore.
You
So,
want to?
yeah, you want to let me drive your boat?
Yes. You want to drive my boat to Pensacola?
Yeah.
Okay. Guess what, everybody? In case you haven't seen it, Katey Zimmerman is now my new driver for Bushwhacker Cup in Pensacola, and I was
All right,
top five
Dad.
last year. You better do as good.
Okay.
I'll be sitting next to you yelling at you. All right, Katie, you're driving my boat.
Deal.
That's the
Okay.
deal. By the way, uh, Charles Farley, I need new sales. Um, um, Doug, I need new sales. Somebody. Anyway, all right, so let's move on to women's sailing. What do you think about women's sailing? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, um, it's tricky as a female in the industry sometimes.
Yeah,
Actually, most of the time, I would say it's tricky. Um, But the number one thing I think I've always asked for as a woman in this sport, and what I, from my perspective, is one of the more helpful things, is to just give us I'm not give, let us earn the opportunity, and then let us take on that job in the same way that a male would do it.
yeah.
Give us the same assumption that we can perform that job to the best of our ability in the same way that a male could do it.
You deserve the same respect. You deserve the same criticism. You know,
Yes, exactly.
I
The
coached a
good
lot of
and the
girls growing
bad.
up, and I gave them just as much hell as I would a guy. You
Yeah.
know, and
And
actually, I
that's how
kind of
you
gave
get
them
better.
more and said, "You got to beat the guys. Work harder. That's your benchmark. You got to beat them." You know.
Yeah,
Now
absolutely. I
and the girls I coached, all right, the guy, all right, just so you know, I had like 13 or 14 girls, and I had one guy, and the one guy was Jackson Bevenuti.
mhm.
All right, so I got to coach 13, 14 girls to beat Jackson.
Yeah.
And you know how good Jackson is. What, he's won like 30 world championships in the last 2 years. So,
Mhm.
I mean, he's a stud. So those girls got good, and I did not allow them to be girl sailors. I taught them just
Yeah.
like I would a guy, and that's the way to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what you want, right?
Yeah, you get on the boat and you are part of the crew.
Yeah,
It does not matter if you are a female or a male. You're there to do a job and to have fun, but to do your job, and it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like,
doesn't
any of that.
matter. Yeah,
Because if you're there on that boat, there's a reason that you're there. You've earned the opportunity, someone recommended you, whatever reason, and it doesn't matter who you are. Just
do
go do your thing, and you'll all probably sail better if you trust the women on your boat to
oh yeah,
just do their job in the same way that you would trust a man on your boat to do that
yeah,
job.
agreed. I mean, uh, like I say, I got myself in trouble with the Greg Fisher interview because I said I love girls on the boat because they're quick and they can clean up, and I didn't mean clean up a boat on the trailer. I meant, you know, generally they're lighter. They're the forward person because they can get in and out of that little hole between the shrouds and the cockpit.
Hmm.
That's they're smaller, and you've been on the boat. That's just a tiny area. It's
Hmm.
good to have a tiny person up forward because there's a tight window to get through.
Yeah.
And then timing with the fat trimmer, the heavyweight, and then the little person getting through out of the bow.
Hmm.
It's just hard to get through, and that little person can actually clean a halyard in the middle of attack, throw it down and below, and it's like,
Yeah.
thank God I have someone young, quick-handed, whatever. And
Hmm.
I'm not trying to generalize, but God, I love having women on the boat. That plus I can hear their voice differently than the three guys yelling at me, come up, come down, whatever. A woman goes, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear that voice. I listen to women a lot more than I do men. So I love having women on my boat. And that's why, guess what? You're my new driver. So I want women on my boat in every role possible. If I could get rid of the four guys on my boat, well, I better not say anything because I know they're watching this video.
Yeah. Don't say that.
But
Don't say that now.
they're going to be very shocked to know that you're our new driver. Um, Trust me, I got your back. All right. So with that, do you have any ideas on how we can grow the sport?
Um, I think a little bit what we talked about earlier, like bring your friends, even find ways to get new people on the water, even if it's not necessarily in a racing scenario, even if you just grab a couple of your coworkers'
Yeah,
friends and go float around the bay, the lake in the afternoon,
I love
take a
that.
few
Yeah,
cocktails. Because then, I think one of the biggest things that prohibit people from joining our sport is that they're not comfortable on the boat or they're not comfortable on the water. So if you kind of ease them into it by maybe doing a little
it's just fun.
cruising,
Yeah,
then maybe they would eventually be interested in racing, or maybe they would continue to love the cruising side,
yeah.
and
Either way, they're getting into the sport. You
mhm,
know.
just get them on a boat. Find
Yeah,
a way to get people on a boat.
I
That
completely
and
agree.
also youth sailing. I mean, we've got a
Well,
strong community sailing program up here in Traverse City,
what
and
I don't mean to cut you off, but you say that we've had so many youths, and I've coached youth growing up. I mean, I've been a coach pretty much all my life, as long as I was allowed to coach, which was 15. And I'm telling
mhm,
you, what I hate seeing is these kids grow up to the end of the youth program and then they're gone.
yeah,
Dust in the wind. You never hear, see them again. That drives me crazy. And
oh, absolutely.
there's got to be some way to bring them back.
Yeah,
That's
so
the mystery.
in Traverse City right now, what we kind of have going on is we have a few of our graduating senior class from high school
Hmm.
um, that we've kind of helped them find some Wednesday night beer can racing boats to get on. And it's been awesome to see them stick around this summer and continue to sail.
Yeah,
Because I think you're right. Youth sailing's great until a point, and they reach that point and
and then they
they
go.
disappear. So
Yeah,
you have to find a way to keep them just a little bit in touch. And I think, at least with this group of high school kids we've got right now, the ones that are still sailing this summer, I bet will continue to sail.
Yeah.
Maybe not the next 4 years while they're in school,
See,
but I bet that they will come back to the sport.
you say that, and I've been there, and I've thought, okay, these five kids are they're gonna stick with it forever, and they don't, and they go to a college where they think they're gonna be a sailing school, but the
Mhm.
problem is they would go to Charleston or Navy or ODU or Stanford, and they think they're going to be the next college sailor, and they're not quite good enough, and they're the C team, they're the D team, and they're just and then they drop
Right.
out because they leave my area thinking I'm the bee's knees, and I
Hmm.
already know they're not the bee's knees, but who am I to destroy their
Right.
sailing is all about ego, and confidence. I don't want to destroy their confidence or their ego. I'm going to say, look, it's going to be harder than you think. Just be prepared and work hard. But
Hmm.
I really don't want to dig too deep into whatever their withholdings are. But the problem
Yeah.
is when these kids go to college, they think they're going to be rock stars. I mean, I've sent five kids to Charleston. One of them was college female of the year. The other one was male sailor of the year. The other three or four that I sent were C team.
Hmm.
You know, and those guys that were C team came back and quit. And they never. They just said, "Okay, I'm not good enough to make the team. I'm
Right.
out." And that's the group. I feel like we're losing. I don't know how to get them back, but we got to get them somehow.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? What do we do? Because
Well,
we're out of questions, and the next question is how do we build it? So there it is. So how do we get those guys? I mean, you're one of those guys. How do we get you?
yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't go to an East Coast school with a really competitive sailing program. I went to Wisconsin, which is
Yeah.
has been one of the best
For
schools in the Midwest
y'all
for
are
a long
great for a little while, and then you drop out the face of the earth, and y'all are
Right,
great for a while. It depends on your talent. Yeah, trust me, I
right.
follow Wisconsin, so I got Gail Turlick who wears me out
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
sends me Wisconsin stuff every other day, so I know. Yeah,
But we've always kind of struggled with that challenge because we are sort of on the cusp and we do kind of go through those waves of being really competitive on the national level and then falling back just to kind of being competitive in the Midwest and I honestly I don't really know what the answer is because we struggled with that question when I was captain of the team
yeah,
and we were always trying to figure out if we needed to bring up the bottom,
yeah. Just
down the top.
go
I
outside and
think
just bring
you're
people in.
yeah,
You
exactly.
don't know. You know.
I think the thing that worked for us the most, which probably it's not going to work for every school and it's not the answer, but one thing that we worked on at Wisconsin was just whatever level you are comfortable that you choose that you want to compete at.
Yeah,
There's a regatta for you, and you go and you have a great time, and that's what kept people engaged. There were people that only practiced and they never went to a regatta, and that made them so happy. And
yeah.
there were people that went to only Midwest regattas, and they went out and they won all of those Midwest regattas, and that made them happy. And there were people that went to the East Coast and
And
got destroyed at,
and they were happy. You
and
know,
they were happy. Yeah.
See, I coach a little college here called Spring Hill. And it's a
Hmm.
little local private Jesuit college here. Uh, you know, there's like 3,000 people in this college. But I was
Hmm.
the sailing coach. And, I was taking over for a couple other sailing coaches that didn't do a very good job. And then the one who started the program who did an amazing job. I mean, Eric Doyle's won the program. I mean, there's a
Hmm.
lot of great sailors. We had when I was coaching, I had David Dabney, who became a college sailor of the year at Charleston. Uh, I had Kevin Northrup, he's won VX North Americans. I had Judd Chamberlain, who was America's Cup bowman. I've had during the year I coached there, I was more of a token coach because I was supposed to go to school there, and then they
Hmm.
realized my grades weren't good enough. Then they realized I didn't quite. I made a little. Parents made a little too much money for me to get financial aid, so I kind of okay. I went to school for like 2 days, and then I went, okay, you're kicked out, but we're hiring you to coach the sailing team.
Hmm.
Well, we did really well. I mean, we made it to nationals. We got top 10 at nationals for nobody's school in Alabama. But, and it wasn't me that did it, it was the talent we had. But my first job when I got there was I posted posters, come join the sailing team, learn how to sail. And I posted those all over the school. That was great, but the problem I had was I had 280 kids show up the first day. I'm in charge going, okay, you're
You did
out,
too
you're out,
well.
you're out. I mean, I'm literally cutting off people by the 50.
Yeah.
It was brutal. And I learned a valuable lesson. As much as you want to open it up, okay, I got 6 boats.
Hmm.
I got 5 to 6 skippers. Okay, I don't
Right.
really need 300 crew. And and it was a difficult thing to do, but I kind of did it by based on experience, and I threw as many people out on a boat as I could. I mean, I ended
Hmm.
up recruiting other people to motorboats, and we all went out. And if they were weirded out by a motorboat, they were off the team. If they, if the sailboat came up, the 420 came up and slammed next to it to swap out crew, and everybody scared back, anybody that scared back was off the team. And I had to make weird cuts, but obviously these people are interested. Those are the people we need to
Hmm.
get. I don't know how to open it up to it because I'm not in the opportunity anymore. I wish I would. All right, well, we are getting along in this interview, and I have one more question left.
Okay.
What's your best advice for new people to sailing? People that are brand new, people that are watching a YouTube video, want to learn how to sail.
Just go do it. Find someone that has a boat. Go to if there's a local sailing school somewhere. It's a little trickier this somewhere, but a lot of sailing schools are still open with,
Yeah,
precautions in place, wear a mask. But go learn about it. It's really not that hard to just
go.
go sail.
Yeah, get on the
When in
water.
doubt, let it out. Tiller towards trouble.
Tiller towards trouble. I haven't heard that one in a while. All right. Well, listen, everybody. This is Katey Zimmerman, my new driver for my Melges 24. So look for us at Eel Smile Racing,
Excited?
S&G Sailing. I have a new skipper. By the way, she's coming down a week early. She's not aware of that yet. So
Woo!
you better talk to the bosses and tell them you're getting off early. Um, all right. Well, this is Zane with Sailing Views. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Katey Zimmerman works for Quantum Sales. She's just a rock star. Anybody, anyway, just hit the buttons. See you later. Over,
Thanks,
out, and
Zane.
bye bye.